In September 2018, Jack and I got on a plane to Calgary and then drove into the Canadian Rockies. It was a glorious series of adventures featuring road trips, lakes, canyons, waterfalls, mountains, crazy lost valleys, and it changed our view of travel forever. In this video, we discuss the success factors of the trip.
Yeah.
And I don't think we said however many you wanted to list. So just generally, what were the things that made it a success?
Oh, we've mentioned having a car.
Yeah, so I've got four, just off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I did put number one, the car.
Yeah. I put that
just
as well,
without
actually,
a doubt. You could see what everyone's lives were like who didn't have a car.
Yes.
You know, at around anywhere from 8 to 10, the coaches started circling Banff or Jasper to pick people up.
Yeah.
And then anywhere around 10 to 11, they sort of arrived at the tourist spots. Now, normally we were walking out of our first one at that point. Yeah. And everything was just so regimented and dictated, and you were arriving at the same time as everyone else. And I'm sure that each trip was probably costly. You know, you were paying to do something, and okay, you pay for the car as well. I do understand that. But,
yes.
You know what I mean? You were paying to go to an attraction that was free.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I had the car mainly because there is certain trips that I believe are good to be regimented.
Yeah.
Canada is not one of them.
No.
You can do it, and hats off to you if you do it, because if that's the way you want to do it, then that's fine. But you should at least experience a trip like that once where you are completely free to do what you want. Because I remember distinctly, almost every morning when we woke up and went to breakfast, or at least I went to breakfast, I would walk past the big Banff Avenue and go down that main street, and there would be coaches outside every hotel, and this was 6 a.m. 6 o'clock in the morning, 6:30 in the morning, people would be getting on the coach ready to go.
Yeah.
And we were maybe an hour and a half away from getting ready. I'd sit in McDonald's for an hour.
Yeah.
And then walk back to the hotel.
Yeah.
And just get dressed, and off I went. It was that freedom of just doing, are we going to get up early this morning? Yeah, we will. We'll get in the car and we'll go. Or are we just going to chill out a bit in the morning and then go somewhere later? It's that freedom. It's a little thing, but it's actually huge in the long run.
Just being able to go when you want, where you want, shift things round. You know what I mean? It wasn't like there was slots in the thing that had to happen at certain points. You just change it around.
No.
That's why that worked. So what else do you have on yours?
I had where we stayed in Jasper.
So I realise you've clarified that recently, but I always thought you hated that.
No, I didn't. No, it was charming, shall we say? It was definitely. It's an odd story. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. You go somewhere like that, and you're obviously spending quite a bit of money to do Canada, especially from the UK, and then you come back and you say, oh, well, I stayed in a cabin for 3 days and it was freezing cold in the bathroom. And people go,
fire.
Yeah. And people go, how did you enjoy that? And I said, because that was one of the best parts. Yeah. It felt like you were in it. Felt like you were among it. Nothing was given to you. You had to have to survive a little bit.
And it's probably worth mentioning at this point, the accommodation in these places, because it's the same in the Jungfrau region of Switzerland, right? That there isn't like the Holiday Inn or the whatever other chains. They're all either independently owned and they own 2 or 3. Yeah. Like the 2 hotels we stayed in Banff were actually owned by the same people. But you couldn't tell.
No.
But they were. So they all have their own idiosyncrasies and weirdness about them, and that's part of the experience. If you went there and just stayed in a Holiday Inn that looked like any other Holiday Inn, it'd have been shit. Let's face it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I enjoyed the place we stayed in Jasper. It was very nice. Not the best place no, I don't know. No, I think it was the best place we stayed, because the Banff hotels were very generic.
They were, yeah.
It was a bed, and that was it.
They were weird, but not like weird in a way that made it interesting. They
Yeah,
were just weird.
it's like as if you stayed in a B&B,
Yeah.
whereas this was a cabin, and it was just funny. It was. I look back on it and just laugh
Well,
every
at
time.
least by the time you were ready in the bathroom, you were wide awake.
Oh God!
Because you could keep your drinks cold in that bathroom.
People,
It
yeah,
was
people don't
it's
understand
like
that
a
we were
fridge.
keeping drinks not cold,
If
but
you've
almost
ever seen
frozen.
what it's like when I mean, okay, it wasn't that cold, but if you ever want to get just a little bit closer to what it's like when the action hero gets locked in the freezer, that's what it was
It was the bathroom, yeah.
like.
Yeah. No.
Because we
Ah,
probably need to mention at this point the weather in Banff was very much late summer, early autumn.
yes.
Yeah, and of course that was also the weather in Jasper. But I don't know what type of weather they have. It was September, wasn't it?
Uh-huh.
September. I don't know what type of weather they normally have in Jasper in September, but we had snow. So it was that it meant we felt we had a trip where we got experience multiple
Every
seasons
yeah.
within 10 days. It was quite cool.
Yeah, we experienced sun, yeah, everything. Yeah, it was very good.
So the another thing I had, because I just had doing things early.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
absolutely fantastic. If we'd have went and every time we did something we were surrounded by other people, I don't think we'd have liked it as much. I
No.
think the fact that we did a lot of things really early and literally had them to ourselves was probably a lot of it.
Well, we're both very similar in the fact that we're both, I would say I would use the label of introverted, but
Yeah,
I don't know whether that's right.
yeah,
I prefer my own company, same as you.
yeah,
But I don't mind company with other people that have that same mindset because they
yeah,
understand that sometimes silence is the best way.
yeah.
Whereas going on like, going a group of people or anything like that, they probably don't know that boundary and they definitely
I
don't know
don't I
that
don't like
boundary.
enforced interaction.
No, or enforced fun.
No, if
No.
I'm okay in small groups or within individuals, I
Yes.
can hold my own. It's not a problem. Large groups where you feel there's the pressure to interact.
Yes.
Ugh, can't
I
can't
know.
can't do it.
Yeah. I had we didn't overplan our days.
No, I've got that.
We
That's
were
it. Places to hit, but not a strict plan.
yes,
And
the
also,
only
we
thing
didn't overplan the days. We only
yeah.
ever had two things on the list. It wasn't
Yeah.
like bang, bang, bang. Let's fit all this in.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
We I mean what I thought of it as like we the only thing we had set in stone was going to Jasper
Yes,
because we had to.
because accommodation.
We physically
Yeah,
were
yeah.
getting kicked out of our
But
hotel
we
otherwise.
had two sort of hubs that we.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But not once did we think we have to be at Jasper at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, but even I said even like we said
Yeah,
earlier, even that move to Jasper, we didn't put anything with a time on the journey. So
yeah,
even that was well, as long as we get there before dark, because we didn't like driving too much. We were fine.
but just don't overschedule your days. Just enjoy it.
And that's why you
Just
need the car as well.
yes, yeah.
Because
Just
if
go
you
and
want to do
enjoy it.
5 things in a day or two with the car, you can
Yeah,
just drive to them.
yeah.
Uh, so the other thing I had as well as that, which might be a bit similar, but I think it was slightly different, in that it was all just very chilled.
Oh yeah, I
You
had
know,
that. Yeah,
I mean, when we go to somewhere like Disney World or something like that, which I realise is very different, we even do that in a sort of chilled way. It's not like we're
yeah,
these people with a park plan and I get these 50 rides in and
yeah,
never leave till you've done it and all that.
yeah,
So even our experience of that sort of crazy commercialised holiday is relatively chilled.
yeah,
But this was at an all new level
yeah.
because you were like
We,
walking in the middle of nowhere. You know what I mean? Not
I don't
necessarily rushing to do the next thing. It
know.
was fantastic.
People can do it, in that manner of, oh, I'm going to hit 5 things today.
Yeah.
But I don't think you should, personally. I think it ruins the experience a little bit because you're constantly rushing, thinking, come on, we've got to get away from this lake now. We can't sit here
Yeah.
and eat our sandwiches because we've got to get on the road and be there by 4 o'clock.
Yeah, and some things will end up shorter or longer than you think. It's like Lake Louise didn't hold my attention as much as I thought it would. You
No.
know what I mean? It was much. I thought Lake Louise was going to be the event,
Mm.
but
Yeah.
actually it was like, yeah,
I
okay,
think
we've walked around it, let's go.
yeah.
And Boom Lake, we probably hung around longer than we thought we would. Johnston Canyon was just a whole bigger thing because I didn't fully know what it. Well, I knew what it was, but I didn't. Yeah, and then of
Sure.
course things like walking Malign Canyon Valley or whatever it was. That was a whole surprise thing we hadn't planned to do at all. So
Yeah.
things tend to take longer or shorter, and just
I
bullshit around.
Yeah. I mean, let's put it into perspective. Again, you're using the Disney and Canada comparison, but they are
Yeah,
very different
they are very
holidays.
different. Yeah,
One of them is very planned out because
I tend to use it just as like a the highly commercialized holiday as opposed to
yes.
the walky hikey holiday.
So let's put it this way, right? We on the first trip we went to Disney in
Yeah.
2017, we had our restaurants planned almost 3 months in
Oh yeah,
advance.
don't get me started on the craziness, which is all changing now to COVID-19, by the way.
Okay, that's
But
fine.
yeah, the whole setup of how Disney has persuaded people it's part of the fun
Yeah,
to book rides 60 days in advance
yeah.
and restaurants 180 days in advance.
Wow. Okay.
I think it's 180 if you're staying on property, and it's a while since I have all the facts, but it's a long time, right? It's like, if you think about it, that isn't really fun. It's a
Nope.
dysfunction of it being so popular.
And then the going to Canada, we had one reservation the entire trip,
Yeah,
and that was half an hour wait for a burger bar.
yeah, and to be honest, even Aberthaska Glacier, I don't think I booked it till we were in Jasper
Nope.
because I
We were
didn't
in
want to
Jasper.
pick the day because
Nope.
certain weather effects can dull the
It was
experience.
it
So
was the
we were
night
the
before.
night before, yeah.
Yeah, because we were sat in a restaurant and you said, "Oh, I booked it
I
now."
booked it now.
And
We're
that
all
was the
set.
date
We're
you
gonna
had.
go
Yeah.
because we
But
were worrying about the snow, weren't we? Because
yeah,
it had literally snowed, and
yeah.
we had no idea whether the road was going to be closed. And Aberthaska Glacier from Jasper is a certain distance back along the parkway, so
Yes.
it was like, you know what I mean. We were having conversations of whether we even could drive back to Banff.
Yeah. But that
Uh,
was the
you know,
only two planned things we had, a
yeah,
reservation at a burger bar and
yeah,
Athabasca Glacier
yeah. That's it.
in 10 days,
Yeah.
you know?
No, it was fantastic. So that's pretty much all I have for that one. Do you have anything?
Uh, Going off the beaten path, I think I have.
Yes.
But not that we did overly. We didn't do it all the time. But Malign Valley Canyon, whatever it's
Yeah.
called,
Milan Canyon Valley. Yeah.
that was a prime example. Keep going
Yeah.
because,
Just keep going. You're right.
yeah,
That is one I should have put on my list because, and I think it's true for any type of this experience
yes,
because it was also true in Switzerland. If you did something, yeah, and went to lookout point one, but just continued either past the official lookout points or to the ones that were further along the line, everyone just vanished.
yeah.
Most people just went to the first one, then went back to the coach or the
So
car.
I'm gonna ask this, right?
Yeah,
How different? So let's say we didn't do all that and we went to Malign Valley Canyon or Canyon Valley
yeah, yeah.
and we didn't go off that beaten path and you didn't have that experience. Switzerland would have been different. You would have still went probably. But how
Yeah.
many, I mean, I've watched your videos on Switzerland and how many times you go, I don't feel like I can carry on. But
No,
if Jack was
I tell
here,
you what
we'd
happened
carry
in
on.
Switzerland, right? So Switzerland, especially that Jungfrau region bit,
Yeah.
is different to the Rockies in one distinct way. I won't say one's more commercialized than the other. Neither felt commercialized to the point. I tell you how they both feel. They both feel commercialized to the point that they make it possible for people who don't climb mountains
Yeah.
or do crazy hikes
Yeah.
to see stuff
Yeah.
without making it feel like Disneyland.
Yeah.
Yeah, you still feel like you're out there in the middle of the nowhere doing fantastic hikes, but you haven't had to walk up the mountain to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so both of them offer that sort of facility to some extent. I think the Jungfrau region offers that more with all the cable cars and things like
Yeah.
that. They literally take you up. So what the Jungfrau region felt like was a lot of experiences that were somehow a bit like Sunshine Meadows
Yes.
because they all get you to the top, and then there you go. Look at all these hikes, and you're in mountain height. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
so there was a lot of this is like Sunshine Meadows sort of feeling. I think that's the way to think it. But in terms of keeping going, I used to honestly just think Jack could tell me to keep going.
Yeah.
So there
Yeah.
was numerous points. Like, well, there's two videos out there now. One when I went up to top of Europe,
Yeah.
and you can hike for 45 minutes there, 45 minutes back. on something that feels like Aberthasker Glacier. I don't think it is a glacier, but it's mountains in the snow, and you hike up to this hut, which is even higher, right? I was like, should I do it? And it's like, well, if Jack was here, he'd tell me I should do it, so I did.
Yeah.
And it was the same when I came down. So I came down from there. So this is the same day. Think of how crazy this is, right?
Yeah.
I'd went to top of Europe. I'd done 45 minutes back in there. And okay, 45 minutes isn't long, but you feel the height.
Yeah.
Right, and it's snowy, so it's hard on the legs because in a way you almost needed spikes.
Yeah.
You didn't. Most people didn't have spikes, but it would have been an advantage to have them because you had to be steady on your feet, right? So that was quite a bit of effort. And then I came down to Kleine Scheidegg or whatever they call it, and I was just going to get a train.
Yeah.
Back down, and then I looked round and there was just this field full of Indian people, which is fine because it's a Bollywood. I think it's like a lot of Switzerland uses Bollywood sets. So there's like a lot of just like Banff and places like that was more Asia in terms of like China and places like that, didn't it?
Yeah.
While Jungfrau region had a lot of people from further east, but there was a bigger Indian contingent as well as the Asian contingent. And I just thought, it just had a sign going Wengen, and I went right, I can walk down, and I just kept going. The other thing Switzerland really does well is on any hike, there's always multiple get out points.
Yeah.
So you can start it, be in the middle of nowhere, but if you really do go, I can't go any further. There'll be something somewhere like you can go slightly to the right and go down, get to a train or something. And, you don't feel like you're just walking next to a train, but you can do that. So, yeah, that's sort of the difference. But so I went there because, well, 3 reasons, as we know. One, I saw the video. Who did the video?
Currently Hannah. Maybe?
Currently Hannah did the video.
Yeah.
That made me want to go. The fact I'd been to Disney World on my own meant I was okay going on my own, and because of events, and obviously Canada because I wanted to get to a mountainous location again. It was different.
Yeah.
But
No,
it was awesome.
I'm glad I'm still in your head whenever you walk and you go,
it happens numerous times. If Jack was with me now, he'd tell me we should do it.
Yeah. So, best experiences come from that, though.
Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, the best experiences on both those trips, though I realise you weren't on the Swiss Alps one, was stuff that happened unexpectedly.
Yes.
Like Milan Canyon Valley, Boom Lake because of the experience when we got to the top, and Sunshine Meadows because it was just like, what the hell have we found? Yeah. And it was the same in Switzerland, so it was not so much walking to the top to get to the hut. I sort of knew what to expect there, but walking down to Wengen from the top of Kleine Scheidegg, that was just like, I can't believe I'm doing this. And then another time, I meant to go up into a cable car from Wengen and walk up to Kleine Scheidegg, but I went the wrong way, and I actually ended up walking from Wengen all the way over the mountain range. Well, I say mountain range. You're not like literally on the peaks, but you know what I mean, all the way up the valley rise and back down to the other side for the Grindelwald Valley. And I hadn't even expected to go that route, and for half of it, I thought I was lost. And I think that's the next video. And it was just like, this is amazing. I don't know where I am. I'm going the wrong way. And I'd effectively walked over the route I kept taking by train.
Yes.
I'd effectively walked over it.
That's class. That's amazing.
Crazy. I mean, it was well planned and it was a route.
Yeah.
And it wasn't in the middle of literally hiking in the middle of nowhere with poles and whatever. But it was still fantastic from my point of view.
No.
So.